was the day that we really got our best opportunity to do a in-depth search of the portion of the Mad River we've been focusing on. Due in part, a large part, that the Department of Water was able to dam the river, that portion of the river, which allowed us to get access to areas of concern, places where there were some strainers, some underwater debris, and a water feature that we thought that if he did fall in that area, that's where we'd possibly locate him.
Has this happened before where you make a dam in the middle of the river?
So that was the first time we had ever done that, and the Texas EquiSearch group, who've been involved in searching for over 20 years, said that's the first time they'd ever seen it done. So pretty atypical. We were able to do it for a couple reasons. One, the water department had the resources with the machinery. They also had the gravel nearby, and there was an area of that particular part of the river that was narrow enough to make that feasible.
And probably just to add one thing, as far as the water department, they've been great about this. Even on Sunday, they emptied a large pond there too. We thought maybe the child may have fell into that pond, but you had the pond and damming the river. I know from a Dayton police standpoint, it's probably the most I've ever seen done in my 31 years for a missing person to go to that extent. So.
And now with the pond being drained, that portion of the river being drained, not finding anything, are we extending it further south? Have we contacted law enforcement in other areas to alert them? That actually took place even on Monday. We began searching from West Carrollton on back to Dayton, Ohio. Even on a Saturday, and even like today, using like air support from Ohio State Patrol, we've checked the river from here even past West Carrollton.
I kind of want to touch on what we were talking about a little bit earlier about if you fall in, where you can go and what can happen down there. Can you guys kind of touch on where it was?
Sure. One of the difficulties with this particular incident was that we didn't have a real good idea of the point last seen, where the child may have fallen in. And obviously that creates a difficulty when you're trying to rapidly locate someone. So we focused in that area, again, close proximity where the gentleman said he was fishing. There was a pond there and then a leg of the river. And so those were our focus. And then, of course, we also looked in the woods as well, because while we thought they might be in the water, there was no... we weren't 100% positive about that. So we did search the woods as well. We're using thermal imaging cameras. We used canines. But yeah, when you look at the water behind me, it looks pretty still, and like it wouldn't be too dangerous, to step in, maybe cool off or whatever. And unfortunately, there's a lot of underwater currents. And there's also what we call strainers, or things in the river below the surface that you can't see at the top side that create a drowning hazard, really. Think of things like rebar, tree roots, underground tree systems, even the bank itself where water erodes the bank. You can have a whole cacophony of roots for trees, and then tree branches hanging down. And so many things that even strong swimmers can get hung up on, especially with what appears to be a slow current. It's really actually a strong current and quite hard to swim against. And the other part of that is even stepping into it, it doesn't take a lot of current, lateral movement to push you off your feet, lose your balance, and then now you're in trouble.
Yeah, and just add to the chief's point, the young man had not been seen for about 10 or 15 minutes, so we had that window where he was not seen. The kids playing there in that area also heard something fall, heard crying and water splashing, and that's why we were really focusing on that side of the river. The river behind me is flowing, but the area where the young boy was missing, there's like what I would call a spillway there. I'm not sure if that's the accurate thing. Actually, two spillways right there, and the current was so fast. It would put this to shame, honestly, in that small area, though. So when she talks about drowning hazard, she's totally on it. It's just not the current, it's the debris below that could actually, hold someone underwater for a while.
I was just going to say, and then of course we had the rain, which raised the water levels, and at that one particular part where Brian's talking about, it was difficult to even communicate with the noise of the water rushing that rapidly, and so it kind of gives you an idea of what kind of water movement we're talking about. And that's why it was so critically important to dam that part of the river if we could, so we could get in there, actually get hands, feet in the water and probe all of those little recesses and spots that bodies tend to accumulate in these instances.
moving forward, obviously we're almost a week out. Where do law enforcement stand on continuing searching?
Right. Well, like today, even today, we did another bank search with people on the bank searching the water and the river's edge. We utilize EquiSearch, have a special drone that focuses on color. So we know Lucas was wearing a black and white shirt and black pants. That was unsuccessful, and even OSP was out today with their helicopter checking the river and its bank. So it's an ongoing investigation as far as DPD is concerned, and we're following up on anything that we can to try to bring Lucas home or locate him.
What can people in the community do to help? I know it's dangerous, or you don't necessarily want people in Eastwood, so where can they go? How can they help?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
obviously, we don't want to create another problem with people getting near the water and again, losing their balance, falling in the water, creating another hazard. But obviously, if people want to search, they're clear to walk along the river. We would advise if they do so, please wear a personal flotation device. Don't walk alone. Have some kind of safety net in case you do. Don't get too close to the water. If you do see something, call us. We have boats and other specialized equipment that allow us to get in there and get access. And again, just like Brian John said, Dayton Fire will continue to support organizations that are searching as best as we can. But right now, there are no further plans to get boats on the water or in the water.
I'd also just add, think about the family during this time. I know they're getting a lot of stuff on social media. A lot of it is inaccurate. And unfortunately, when we have things like this, we have people who also try to take advantage of the family monetarily. So keep the family in your thoughts and have respect for them, please.